mug is a cherished, coveted crown.
I don't
for
even have
Creative
one.
of the Week. No, I don't either. As a matter of fact,
No.
I wouldn't even dare drink coffee out of this because of the company that it keeps. I wanted to just give it to our first Creative of the Week of this week. Our only Creative of the Week this week. Bob Barancik. Bob Barancik. Congratulations.
That's for you.
That's for you. Drink some coffee out of it.
I will cherish this.
You should, because I don't want to see pencils or something when I come up and visit you or anything like that. Coffee.
Absolutely.
Bobby, please be sure to talk closer into the mic.
I certainly shall.
All right.
But congratulations to you for that. Tell us about you. I mean,
Yeah.
you've done everything. You're what is it? The 7-time. He's not a triple threat. 7-time threat because you do everything.
7-time threat.
Well, I grew up in a very artistic family in Chicago. My dad was an architect. My mom was a painter, illustrator, and art teacher. And grandparents
That's
were...
like your family. He's like right in there with you.
It made a very big difference because I grew up with the stuff. My grandmothers were musicians and artists, and it just was what came literally with my mother's milk. I grew up thinking art and being creative and around creative people my whole life.
Well, not only did you get the Creative of the Week honor for thinking creatively and being creative and having a creative family, give us some of the things that you do to support creativity in our community and in our country and globally, because you don't live here in town, but yet you contribute to one of our important creative
Part-time he does.
Oh,
Lives
part-time
here.
you do. Creative clusters here, but also you also spend time up north and contribute to creative involvement up there as well. Give us a rundown of all the things you do.
Well, it's a little bit
multifaceted.
It's a little bit complicated. I actually am an official resident of Florida.
Oh, better taxes.
It's much better tax. That's why a good part of my family is all down here. We also have studios in Philadelphia and up in Maine.
And these are both Rock Ledge Studios.
No, actually,
No?
there's something called Blake plus Barancik Design Group to support my beautiful little girl who's getting married in about a week and a half.
Oh, congratulations.
Is that I was very much involved in corporate graphics, corporate communications for many, many years. And then when I turned 50, I decided that I wanted to really explore a lot of the things that I had learned when I was at Stanford in the early 1970s. I was at Silicon Valley before it was Silicon Valley, and basically knew the people that built that, and then went on to international fame. They were just guys and gals wandering around.
Huh. That's pretty cool. Tell us a little bit about your studios up in Maine, where you...
Well, it's called the Rock Ledge Studios, and it's interesting is that the studio exists wherever I exist, but I felt it's important to have a sense of place. I chose it out of a creative interaction that I had just meeting people. The island is very interesting. It's where the entire North Atlantic Fleet was fueled during the Second World War for the liberation of Europe. It is freedom's fuel depot. That's where the energy went into the ships to basically save the world and to basically give us our freedom of expression. So I have my studio on this little island that's 2.5 miles. It's really just a rock. It's 2.5 miles long, maybe a mile wide. There's 70 people on the island.
Wow.
And I wanted to start with the metaphor that creatives help other creatives. I'm not a great believer in government or foundations or grants. I believe we help each other. That is where we get our strength. That's where we get our ideas. So my friends built the thing for me. Guys I met up in Maine. One fella who's one of the best marine carpenters in the world, he really is, built a Japanese tea house for me that was using Asian joinery and Maine maritime building techniques. It's a cerebral space for writers, filmmakers, mathematicians, anyone who needs to think and doesn't make a mess can be in that building.
And they
Doesn't make
take their
a mess.
shoes off before they
That
get in.
is entirely correct.
Oh, that's cool.
You're also a Holocaust educator as well. What got you passionate about that?
It's really strange about the power of a single image. I grew up in a very assimilated Jewish family. We didn't really have much identity of religious identity growing up. But there's certain things that happened in the family. My father was involved with the liberation of the concentration camps as a very young man. And there was always a sort of an underground feeling. When I was 20 years old at the Rhode Island School of Design, I wandered into a lecture, and it was given by Roman Vishniak. And Vishniak was a photographer and a scientist who recorded Jewish life right before everything disappeared. I saw these images as a 20-year-old young man, and I completely changed. It changed me. I saw my face, I saw my family's face, I saw where I came from. And it led to working in art in different ways over periods of 30 years. I spent a certain amount of time in Israel with a woman whose father was one of the founders of the Jewish state. So I was very, it was involved in a lot of things. And I had this strong feeling of wanting to express something that was in our family but not talked about. And it started with little drawings and different things. And then it ended up in just videos and other things. I learned video technology to just express these kinds of things.
Well, you had everything. You have so much creativity in you, and it's in your blood. Technique is important in order to express it.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to probably tell young people or old people. Forget about
pointed to you when he said old, by the way.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm old.
Forget about the technique. If you have a story and you want it to express it in any way that you can, in any crude ways, but the power of the images and the words will communicate and touch other people. It surprised me. The little videos I started was after I was in a very severe accident that I was in 1991. I was incapacitated for 5 years at the height of my career. And my wife, who's also a graduate of the Rhode Island School of Design, said, "Bob, I think you'd be good at video." I couldn't fly. I can't fly because of the injury. I have to drive everywhere or walk everywhere. So I just started by starting, and it was a mess. And this was before digital.
Right.
There'd be Tampa nonlinear.
Right.
And I just started. And I started to figure it out. And I started making stuff, and the videos started going all over the world. And I was making these videos for $3,000-$4,000, and I've gotten them down to about $1,800 a video. One of my last ones won at the JVC Tokyo
Wow,
Fest.
congratulations on that.
And it came from the heart about my reaction to 9/11. And I don't consider myself a video maker. I'm just a person who wants to express something.
A storyteller almost?
I'm not even a good storyteller. I'm an
Expressionist.
expressionist or imagist, metaphor person. But I think any artist is always attuned to little antennas.
Do you think that everybody, I mean, Rob is the most creative person that I know. I see everything in black and white. Do you think that everybody has creativity somewhere in them?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And it's knocked out by the educational system. It's the F-catting of the brains.
Oh, we're gonna get on a whole rant.
That didn't happen to you.
Bob. We're gonna get on a rant. You know what? I want to end on the passion you just exuded in your
I had
3-minute
chills,
in your
MI.
3-minute little dissertation on what makes you a creative person, where you get your inspiration, and what you've done in your career, and what you've done in your life, and what you're going to continue to do. Bob, you're an inspiration for many people.
Thanks
you
so
much for
much.
being on the show.
Do you have
pleasure.
contact information, websites, any people want to get a hold of you?
BobCreates.com.